And is this Dan Aykroyd?
Hey, how you doing, gentlemen?
There it is. How you doing, man?
Oh, hey, life in the Western world. Come on.
I know. I hear you. I hear you.
We lucky boy. We hit the lottery.
We're living large, as they say, right?
Oh, anywhere in North America, we're living large.
Yep.
Even Scandinavia, even though the taxes are 90%. And if you're in Finland, they tax you on a speeding ticket according to your income. So.
Wow.
You know, like Donald Trump, if he was speeding over there, he might have to pay like $100 million in fines.
Definitely a lot more money than the layman, as they say.
How is it out there? You got a little cold snap?
A little bit.
You know, it's wintry.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's been pretty good here. We're not complaining.
Long Island. Look what the people came out of there. The talent. Look. Billy Joel, the Baldwin brothers,
right? Pat Benatar, I think.
Yeah, and some of the way backs, the swing bands that used to play in those roadhouses there in the 30s and 40s, and the tradition of the sea. There's mariners. There's strong firefighter and police presence. Nurses, my heroes.
There were a lot of cool people came out of Long Island. Not too bad. When you were doing SNL, did you used to venture out to Long Island every so often?
Well, John and I used to rent a place in Quogue. He rented a place out there in Quogue, and we used to hang out there with my good friend Michael Kleffner, who was at Atlantic Records when we first did the act, and he signed us to the act. And so John and I used to go out there, and then we ventured a little further out to Montauk. Of course, I've got my good friend John Alexander, designer of the Crystal Head Skull vodka bottle, who lives out there near Montauk, and we're good friends, so I always go to his place.
I've got a couple of those adorning my downstairs bar. Those
crack
Crystal
them open. We won the medal in Moscow last year for best taste out of excellent taste out of 400 beverages, and we got this white Cosmo we make now that's incredible, 2.5 ounces of the vodka with about 3/4 ounce of white cranberry, a little Cointreau or Grand Marnier or Citronge, the great Patron product, and then we shake it with a little, it's just really nice.
A lot of people, and because of who you are, they think like, oh, it's kind of a gimmick thing, I guess, vodka, and it turns out that it's really, really good vodka.
Well, thank you. Well, I researched it and I found out what goes in a lot of the lesser commercial grades. They put glyceride, which is a cousin to antifreeze, to cut the alcohol smell and the scent and the taste of it. So that's why when you open a lot of vodkas that claim to be good vodkas, you're getting a perfumey smell in there. And then they put citrus oil to make a smoothness. Well, we don't need that because we've got peaches and cream corn from Ontario, Canada, and we're government made. So, I really researched it, and we don't add sugar either way. So it's 65 calories for an ounce for all you ladies out there who want the skinny cocktail and don't want to put additives in it. And it has no additives. So when you do put additives, it makes a great cocktail because it's a base, a clean base.
And the coolest bottle you're ever going to find.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm hoping that there'll be a bottle backstage for Elwood and Brother Zura Shida.
Yes.
Go into the Paramount Theater. They're one of my favorite venues, by the way, that we've ever played.
Yeah, it's out there on Long Island in Huntington. You're going to be there Thursday, January 21st.
Yep.
And
Paul Schaefer hopefully will be joining us on the Hammond B3, and plus we have an incredible section. If you're kind of, look, I'll never disparage any kind of popular new music ever. Mm-hmm. Whatever you want to listen to. It can be, crunch, steel metal. It can be everything from Slipknot to, deep house or hip hop or electronic or whatever you're into. That's fine. But if you want to kind of clean your ears a little of what you hear on the radio and what's common out there and what you hear, and maybe you want to kind of just not listen to your iTunes for a bit and come and see our show, we have an ear-cleaning show. We do songs, not one of them was written after 1970. It's all the African-American songbook. Wonderful material, Winoni Harris stuff, and of course, Big Joe Turner and Lowell Fulson, and really just terrific material to start with. And then we have this great band. And Jimmy and I, of course, are the weakest components.
It's really it's unique to be able to go out and actually see a band perform that music live like that with a horn section. And
we have the Texicali horns. They were named by Stevie Ray Vaughan, and they sound like two horns sound like four. Schaefer, of course, we've got the best in the world as far as percussionists, and then we, Jimmy and I, we have fun as frontmen, just like John did,
Right, sure.
We're frontmen, and that's if you look at the band leaders, Kay Kaiser, or James Brown, or they were band leaders first, and Count Basie and Ellington, we let the talent shine, and that was what those guys did. They let the talent shine, and we've got great talent coming to the Huntington Theater. It's going to be a really, really fun time.
I know one thing, Dan. I've been in bands my whole life.
What do you play?
I sing.
But all right, okay, sure. Well, you're kind of a local legend there. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Here's what I noticed though. As a few years go by, it gets a little rougher to put on that high energy show. How the hell are you doing that?
You know what? I think about it every time I go on stage. Jimmy and I look, and we're sitting there and looking at each other and going, how are we going to get through this? We got the aches. We've got the ages. We've got, and we're sitting there. But then that first chord starts,
right?
And it's like, dun, 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 or whatever we start with, and it's like, ooh, wait a minute, ooh. And then like marionettes, we're up, and all of a sudden the cricks are gone, and, we might cheat a little bit, take an Excedrin or, something like that, or an ibuprofen, or to ease the pain a little bit.
Of course.
Look, Mick Jagger can do it.
That's for sure.
70 plus years old. We can definitely go out and hop around and quit the act.
Absolutely.
Until they make us do it from a chair. I'm not going to do it from a chair.
You're not going to do it. No, I don't think people want to see you do it from a chair.
No, I don't want to do it from a chair.
That's for sure.
Although the material would carry the show, but
of course,
our show is an active kind of. We have fun, just like Winoni Harris did, just like Johnny Otis and Jimmy Lunsford. Humor was so much a part of blues music and R&B. It isn't about just losing your job, your wife, your paycheck, and the trials in life. Blues is full of music that is humorous. Material. We really exploit that side of it.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about humor because we're in a time, I think, where there's so much political correctness, and comics are actually getting pushback on what they do. And I remember some of the bits back on SNL that you guys did. You could never see them happening today. How do you feel about the sense that comedy is kind of being undermined by this political correctness?
I think what I like to see is, what I like to see are comedians that come forth and comedians that may have been the object of humorous material, maybe handicapped people, transgender people, maybe an Arab comedian, a Russian comedian. Now they're coming forth and they're speaking from their own voice. That's what I love about it, and that everybody in comedy has a voice now. That's what I think is great about the way humor is progressing. That you have terrific voices from the Indian American community, from the Indian community, from the Arab community, and from transgender and gay comedians and comedians now who are speaking, and they can pretty much say what they want. There is no restriction, and maybe they've been hurt in the past by things that other comedians and writers have said about their particular affiliations, either gender preference wise or genetic wise or blood wise. But in the end, now these constituencies have a great voice, which is really good. It shows you that comedians and comedy is open-minded. It's tolerant. There's no restrictions. And maybe that'll lead us to a kind of a freer approach and a freer speech on it.
Maybe.
But we don't want to, I never want, but personally, I never want it to hurt anybody. And some comedians today feel that that's the way to get it done.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
it's a different school?
Do you think something like "Jane, you ignorant slut" would actually fly in today's kind of PC world?
Well, more women than men want me to say it to them.
Really?
They, come on, let's hear it. My name is Jane, or my name is Grace, but I want to hear. You know what I want to hear, Grace. So I get that. Women like me to do that. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a very good question.
All right.
Good question.
And of course, Ghostbusters, the reboot coming out 2016 here, and you got a cameo in there. How you feel about the whole project?
I'm excited about it. I love what's happening. I have 3 daughters, so I'm all for female empowerment. And I'm excited about the presidency of Hillary Clinton, although as a Canadian, I should not comment upon your U.S. election, but I'm very excited that she's going to be leader of the free world for 8 years. I think she's a total capable manager, and again, I'm not qualified to speak, and I'm not going to influence your voters anyway.
No.
That's female empowerment there. I'd like look at the Star Wars franchise, that wonderful leading lady heroine that they've handed it over to, who's in the pilot seat of the Millennium Falcon. Wow. And then those 4 absolute, just high talent, high quality comedians get to strap on the proton packs. You know, this is the year of women here really coming forth in these creative franchises and making them their own. And Paul Feig is one of the great comedy directors, and I just think that it's going to introduce the GBs to a whole generation of maybe girls and women who might not have been interested from 8 to 18. And, they'll go on and be leaders in science and comedy and writing as some of the boys that watched the first Ghostbusters movie went on to be,
It is an amazing classic.
Well, Billy Murray, I mean, come on, he's,
absolutely.
And then, you had a real filmmaker in Harold Ramis and Ivan Reitman, and...
Yep, absolutely.
It was fun, so I'm really excited about it. I mean, those 4 ladies are just champions in their own right.
Yeah, very funny. Very funny.
To hop into the Ecto, which has a little pink trim. I saw in the photos.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
And also, I wanted to hit on before you go your interest in UFOs. I didn't know this about you.
Okay, well, sure. Well, I'm going to give you a reference now, and I want you to all to go and write this down, everybody. And now, people, when skeptics come to me now, I mention these 2 guys. Okay. Pilot Officer Nash, Pilot Officer Fortenberry, National Airlines, August 1952, Miami Herald.
Now, these are very reputable guys.
National Airlines or Capital Airlines, I think it was, Miami, July, August, Miami Herald, in and around there. The Miami Herald, Nash, Fortenberry article. Okay, now you come to me after reading what these guys saw and their crew, and you tell me that there's not something happening where there are intelligently controlled, mysterious, unexplained aerial constructs everywhere around our planet.
I actually believe it. I do. A lot of people have given me flack over the years, but
that reference right there should shut them down, my friend. Nash and Fortenberry.
Absolutely. Also, though, I'm thinking there are so many people with cameras nowadays. Why aren't we seeing more photographs like we did back in the 60s and 70s when?
Well, you have to get on the website, the MUFON.com, and I hope they renew that series. My friend Jan Harzan, he's an IBM mainframe engineer designer. He heads MUFON now. Mutual UFO Network. www.mufon.com. They had a great series called Hangar 1. Jan was an IBM mainframe engineer when he was 10 years old. An orb dropped into his backyard, visited he and his brother when they were kids, came back the next day on a Sunday. The parents were away. And he said, I have to find out how they did this because it wasn't a helicopter, it wasn't a plane. And he went into science and became one of the most prolific contributors to software and hardware interface at IBM. So this is the type of people who make this inquiry. We're not flakes.
And have
we do believe, and we do take the scientific view to rule out hoaxes, weather. And MUFON has a whole investigative range, and there's lots of photos up there now on the site. You should get on, MUFON.com.
Because it was always weather balloons, swamp gas. I liked that one, swamp gas. And,
in the end, the Air Force even said they can't explain 20%. And the Air Force, it's not that they're denying it. They're very, very interested, and they know what's going on. But, Brookings Institution, study of 1958, you'll panic the population. It's, it's all in there in the reference. World Wide Web, Stanton Friedman. .com, wonderful writer about the subject.
Sure.
He's a fellow Canadian, and
I've seen him in a few programs. Dan Aykroyd, the Blues Brothers concert. They're appearing at the Paramount in Huntington on Thursday, January 21st. Really cool. We have some tickets to give away.
Lovely. Well, again, we've got great guitar players, great percussionists, Paul Schaefer on the Hammond B3, and the music is just, you don't hear it every day.
No.
And I encourage you to bring young people. If they play guitar, you got a young guitar player, drummer in your house there, a piano player, someone who's interested in it, bring them along, please, because this is really tutelage in the finest acquitting of R&B and blues. These guys are all great players. All of them Grammy winners, producers in their own right, and Jimmy and I are just so privileged to play with them, and we have a lot of fun. And as I say, that material is it's perpetual. It will, it will never die.
It's a fun night, Thursday, January 21st at the Paramount Theater in Huntington. Dan, thanks so much for checking in, and good luck with everything, man.
Okay, very good. Nash and Fortenberry, get on your Google. You're going to get some calls on that one.
I am going to look at that, believe me.
Okay, your switchboard will light up. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, take care. Bye. See you then.
There he goes, Dan Aykroyd.